we all deal with frustrating experiences in life, and we all deal with people with whom we disagree, okay? Hopefully not at the level of Moroni and Amram and Amalickiah. So, but there are a couple of things you want to keep in mind. The world is full of people who have disagreements, and it's okay to have disagreements. But it's important to learn how to communicate well. And let me just share with you something I read in a book recently about how to communicate in really difficult circumstances. First of all, there's 4 rules. You have to first restate what the other person's thoughts are. Like what do they actually think? What they've communicated something, restate it to them. And then you have to identify where you guys have agreement. In most cases, you can find something to agree with. You don't have to agree with people on everything, but there's probably something you agree on. So you have to identify what that agreement is, then state what you've learned from that person. Now that's hard because that takes a lot of humility. I would rather state what people should learn from me, but that's not how the rule works. You have to state what you've learned from the other person. Then only after you've done all that can you then identify and describe where there's still disagreement. So if you're dealing with difficulties in interacting with other people, maybe over disagreements, try this approach. And really be thoughtful about it, restating what they've said, identifying where you have agreement, expressing gratitude for what you've learned from them and being clear about that, and then describing what the disagreement is. Now, let me just finish with one other thought. Well, if you read Alma 54 again, you can see a lens through which to see the modern world, particularly the adversary's attack against us. The adversary is like Amram. He wants to fight, the adversary wants to fight this eternal war to cause our extinction. And like Moroni, we have to be willing to defend the truth against the onslaught of the adversary. So if you're looking for a handbook for how to stand against the devil who would lie to you, this is the way to do it. And then finally, I want you to look at how people have identified themselves in this text. As Tyler pointed out, Amram is making all these claims. He's a Zoramite, he's a Lamanite, and he identifies himself in a certain way, and therefore he has to act a certain way. Sometimes the problems we get into in this world is because of the identities that are forced upon us or that we take upon ourselves. And ultimately, what is the only identity that truly should define who we are? That we are children of God and followers of Christ, Christians. All other identities really should be ancillary, secondary, and definitely should not be the driving force for our actions. The identity that should drive forth our actions, our decisions, is the identity of being a child of God.